there's the ability to run on subnet. So we have this app called Ahau, AHAU.io, and it's only for Maori. So it's here in New Zealand.
Wow.
And they run on a separate network. Wow. And it's an autonomous. And the social circles in Ahau work differently because they use Maori family, village, tribe structures. And so you get these concentric circles of encrypted communities, and then the servers that do the relaying, that like do store and forward, we call them pubs, exist in each Maori marae. So there's 770 of them across New Zealand. And as your phone or laptop goes into the marae, these community centers, it syncs directly between everyone else. And so
my goodness,
it's really super amazing. And, Mix, who's there in that photo, is one of the developers, and Charisse. So they do development on Ahau here in New Zealand, and they also work on Planetary, and it's just it's a social network and an identity system that is based on their own traditional ways of doing things, and their next step is actually to use their Maori ways of creating identity. So you verify who you know and who your family member is. And the Maori-owned banks and credit unions will use that as your identity verification to open accounts instead of the New Zealand government.
I am getting chills. So this is
what should be happening.
This is a perfect proof of concept. If a community with its own unique ways can have its sovereignty and still work and still interoperate, then you've solved something. You've really made something that people can use. Unbelievable. That's fantastic. And the banks are using it. I love that.
Because there are Maori, iwi's the tribal structure, because there are Maori-owned banks, all they have to do to comply with the banking regulation is have a verifiable system of verifying identity. And they go to the New Zealand government and say, look, we have sovereignty over this community. We have sovereignty over this space. This is the way we're verifying who's who. And we're going to open bank accounts and get the unbanked banked, but not because of some, post-colonial government, but because of the way that the Maori have been doing identity for 800 years. And like next week, I'm going to have a call with Mapuche in southern Argentina and Chile about them wanting to use this same system so that they can have an offline first way of doing social, but it's closed social. It's based on their own traditional ways of who do you identify and how do you connect and what you want to do. And so, and the Maori in New Zealand, they're very well connected. New Zealand has a, good internet connection and everything else. But in Chile and Argentina, especially southern Chile where the Mapuche are, their internet connections are terrible. So that offlineness works. And we also have a deployment among Brazilians in the Amazon with all these villagers and stuff, where again, mostly offline communities who needed their own separate network that worked differently. And that runs on the same protocol that Planetary uses, but Planetary uses it in a much more open Twitter, Tumblr-like way.